Hello everybody, today is March 29th, 2023, and this is my experiment investing $1 a day in 10 different cryptocurrencies and $1 a day in 55 different dividend stocks. Now you see this dotted white line, that's the start of the day, and you can see it's been constantly going up. We can come over here and look at the week. From last week, you see it was down, but now it's been going up for this week. We can look at the 1 month period, and we can see that it's getting closer to the 1 month period of reaching itself back up. We can look at the 3 month period as well, and we can see that it went down, and now it's a little bit going back up, but not really. Let's come over here and let's change this investment profile to show today's return. And we can see right here that cryptocurrencies is not doing bad as far as today's return. And we also can see that dividend stocks, which is more impressive, almost all of them are in the green. So they've been going up. But that's not to say that things will change. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to leave me a comment, smash the like button, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be posting minimum every Monday, every Friday, and sometimes on Wednesdays. So, a lot of people are talking about many different things that can be happening this week, and not just this week, but just in general, how things are going. Banks are coming up, banks are coming down. You come over here and you look at March 11th, and you can see March 11th is when they bailed out Silicon Valley Bank. Then Credit Suisse went under. Then they decided to bail them out. Then they got acquired. And then several other banks decided to go under, in the sense, and then all of a sudden around March 22nd is when the Fed announced the 0.25% increase, and then you can see right here it's been going all over the place, and now it's kind of shooting back up. Now the main investments that seem to be going in a totally different place, if I come over here and show my total return, in my total return you can see that Bitcoin is probably the highest, and mainly because Bitcoin, what I believe is happening, and you come over here and you can look at the 1 month period, you can see that it kind of just all of a sudden, right around here, it's all of a sudden just started shooting all the way up. So there's been a lot of speculation on, is Bitcoin going to keep going? What's it going to do? What I think is happening right now is banks are having trouble. They've been pushing out these bonuses saying, here, if you keep your money in the bank, we'll give you these incentives to stay in the bank. So higher CD, or if you put enough money in your savings account, we're going to give you these extra benefits, and we'll give you maybe 4%, 3% average per year bonuses if you keep your money in the bank. Well, what people are doing is they're still pulling their money out of the banks because nobody knows which bank to stay in. Because a lot of the smaller banks keep going under. And they keep going under because during COVID, everybody was afraid. So what they did was they took their money out of their assets. They cashed in their stocks, they cashed in their cryptocurrency, they cashed in their gold. They wanted physical money because they didn't know what was going to happen during COVID. And they took their money and they either put it in the banks or they put it in places. And when you put all your money and all of a sudden the banks get all this money, they have to do something with it. And the Fed in the US said, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to stay at 0%, interest rates, because we're going to stay like that for a while. So the banks bought these 10-year treasury bonds and these 10-year mortgage-backed rates, which is a 1.5% increase. And the problem is they put all that money in, and then all their money sitting in these bonds and these treasury bonds. And then all of a sudden people are pulling their money out to put it in other places, right? Whether they're buying things or whether they're buying gold, because people keep saying to buy gold, or they're buying real estate, or they're buying cryptocurrencies. So they're sticking the money in other places such as cryptocurrencies. When you take your money out of the bank, it's the same thing as pulling it out. And when you pull your money out of the bank is now forced to sell those treasury bonds or sell those mortgage-backed rates at a loss, huge loss. And that's why these banks are going under. And more banks, I feel, are going to come as more announcements come, and especially as the Fed keeps raising interest rates. Now, why does this affect everybody around the world, not just the US? Well, because the US dollar is the standard. And that's why when you hear all these different things and all these different stories, you hear the news, you really have to understand, why is the US dollar so powerful? The US dollar is so powerful because it's what everybody uses. It's kind of like has been the number one asset for so many years. And when you increase interest rates, you're affecting the entire world economy. And so why do you think Saudi Arabia is thinking about maybe accepting different type of dollar amounts? Why is China building its own digital currency and wanting to move away from the US dollar? Because they don't want to have to trade for all their goods. They want to be able to export to other countries and not have the US dollar be number one. And so there's all these different countries trying to come together because the US dollar, when the US dollar increases in inflation and everything changes, you're affecting the entire world economy. It's not just the US. People that live here in the US are not aware, or maybe they are aware, but there are, I would, in my own personal opinion, there's a lot more people that are not aware of what's going on in the world. They just live in their own little bubble. Like they live in their own little town, they live in their own little city, and they're not looking externally and not thinking, what is going on in the world? And I have to admit, when I was younger, I was exactly like one of those people. I didn't look outside. I looked in my small little town, my small little city, and that's all that mattered to me. Nothing else mattered outside. But when as time gone on, I've come to realize that everything plays into effect. If you're looking like here, you live in the United States, a lot of our products come from China. Like we service out all of our manufacturing, all of our work goes to China and they build it to us. So if China building a gas line to Russia, which they now will be able to get gas easier, and they're willing to accept different dollar amounts, not just the US dollar, what happens to us here in the US? Or what happens to the rest of the world if China becomes even a bigger superpower when you're combining Russia and China? And then people are like, oh, well, Russia's currently fighting right now with Ukraine. Well, how's that going to end up? But there's just so many different layers to this that you really have to be aware of what's going on. Now, for those that, are not really thinking about it, don't really care, that's up to you. I'm just here trying to hopefully maybe open your eyes a little bit in what's going on in the world. So now let's come back here and let's focus on what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is I'm investing $1 a day in 10 different cryptocurrencies and $1 a day in 55 different dividend stocks, $1 each. So it seems like a small amount, and it is a small dollar amount, but when you add it all up, it actually becomes a very large dollar amount. And the main reason why I'm doing it this way is so people can see is if I invested $1 a day in either a cryptocurrency or a stock for yourself, and I'm not giving you financial advice, I'm just letting you know as my own experiment here, where would it be and how much could I make? And the main thing that I'm doing also here too is in my dividend stocks, I eventually wanted to have a passive income, receive that passive income and get it back to a point. So my first goal, and really it's all about setting goals. If you don't have a goal in life, you're not going to make it to where you want to be. And I was like, oh, I just live day to day. I have found through my age, and as I'm getting older, more and more older, if I don't have a goal, whether it's a work goal, whether it's a life goal, whether it's a goal to play a game, even a video game, I'm not as motivated and I start losing interest. Well, my goal, which gets me motivated, is all of a sudden I saw these pennies, right? But then all of a sudden I started seeing more values. And as I'm going now, I've basically been doing this almost 3 months, maybe 3 months now. And what it seems like it's doing is it's probably averaging about 30 cents per a stock per a day for 3 months. So if I'm looking at it that way, and I'm just guesstimating based on the values that I have here, because some are higher and some are lower, and I'm just estimating because what I'm trying to eventually do is get paid $1 every single day out of the month for each one of my stocks. They literally get paid. I know the days don't match up because they only pay through Monday through Friday, but the amount is getting close to it. And what I want to do is I want to get at least $1 every single day out of the month. And then once I get $1, then I'm going to go to $2 and then $3. And then if the stock market crashes, I want to be able to pump more money into my dividend stocks. And the value I want to reach to is eventually where I can make enough of my dividend payments to fund this all by itself so it becomes automated. I don't have to think about it. And so whatever money I'm getting in from my dividend stocks just starts paying for that. And then my secondary goal to that is for cryptocurrency. If cryptocurrency ever makes it higher than what it is, I still plan to hold it on for the long run. Because if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm trying to be an investor, not a day trader. Day trader is somebody that buys stocks or other type of assets and sells them in less than a year. You do that then you get taxed. You're in a higher tax bracket because it counts as regular income. If you wait a whole year before you actually sell your stocks or your dividend stocks or whatever you're planning to sell for your assets, you get taxed differently. You're in a different tax bracket because now that's an investment. So it's a day from when you bought it from the day that you sell it, a year. So I at least want to hold on to my cryptocurrencies for then. Now, there are 2 cryptocurrencies here that I do not actually want to invest in anymore right now, which is AVE and Comp. I'm probably going to get rid of those eventually at some time. As soon as they equal, either I break even or maybe a little over. Going to hold on to them for now. There's no point in selling them right now. There's no rush to seeing it as it goes down. That's the smart thing to do, is not to actually sell it till it actually breaks even. If you're holding on for the long term, I'm not a day trader. I'm trying to be an investor here. Set goals every single day that you can. Set goals of where you plan to be and how you want to become more successful. If anything that you can do this year, which is I know everyone is telling you all these things, and if you're watching these type of videos, you're hearing all these different news, and maybe what matters the most is your family and setting a goal for your family so that you're going to be safe wherever it is for yourself. Maybe you don't have a job, or maybe you're working multiple jobs just to break even, or maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. Set a goal to get out of that situation. Because no matter where you are in life, you have to be able to think of, this is where I am, and this is where I need to be. And people are going to say, Tiny, you have no idea what you're talking about. I says, yes, I do. I've been in those situations. I really have. I've bought lemon cars and they've broken down. More than one. I know I told the story before of just my one car when I worked as an electrician. But I've bought other cars. The very first car I bought was an extreme lemon car. I drove halfway around the island and it broke down. And then I was stuck halfway across the island because she wouldn't go anywhere. It's like, oh, you don't know how to pick cars. If you live in Hawaii, every single car that you can think of that you would buy that's even affordable when you're young is going to be rusting and broken down, and you have to fix it up. If you're going to buy a brand new car or a used car that's only 2 years old, you're looking at paying full price in Hawaii. And then most people can't afford that. When you really think about it, I was working 80 hours a week as an electrician, one of the higher paying jobs that you can get in Hawaii on the North Shore. And I was still living paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth, and it was still very, very hard to get by. So I understand your situation. And not just that, I was a cook, I was a chef, I've worked as a farmer, I've worked construction, I've worked so many different hard labor jobs, I've done so many different things. And how did I get out? By setting goals, saving up enough money, and then moving on to better opportunities with my skill sets of where I could go. So, if it's, you have to cook food and sell food on the side, or you have to pick up a side gig, maybe you have to buy and sell collectibles, whatever it is, whatever it has to take to get you out of the situation you're in, will help you get to where you need to be. If you enjoyed this content, if you stayed here this long, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody that subscribed. I appreciate the comments. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Tell me how I can improve. I'm here to support you. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. I'm loving to do it. I want to share my knowledge, share my experience with other people so that they can see for themselves, make sound decisions, make up your mind, and do something great. Feel free to leave me a comment, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. If not, you come back once a week or twice a week if you like. I'll be posting minimum every Monday, every Friday, maybe sometimes Wednesdays, and throughout the week. Thank you so much for being here, and you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.